Hello and welcome to the Social Media Magic Podcast, the perfect podcast for TPT sellers, teacherpreneurs, and teacher business owners who consider themselves to be introverts. Each episode shares all kinds of ideas, tips, tactics, and strategies to help you make more sales and grow your community on social media. Without further ado, let's get on to today's episode. Hello. Welcome back to the Social Media Magic Podcast. My name is Brittany. I'm the host of this show. And last episode, we talked about what is working as far as the overall strategy. Like, do you even need social media? If so, what should you be doing with it? What are your different goals that you might have? And if so, what should you be doing and spending your time? And today I'm going to be sharing what is working on Facebook right now in late 2022, going into early 2023. What is working as far as the tactics? Now, most people, when they say strategy, they mean like, what do you do in the day-to-day? When I say strategy, I mean overall thinking, like from a bird's eye view of what's working and how they all relate to each other. Like, what are the steps? What's the formula? What's the method? When I'm talking about tactics, I'm talking about the day-to-day what to do. So for example, my strategy with Instagram is to post long form content bitten down into snippets to have them opt into my email list or to order services or to buy products. That's my strategy. My tactics might be scheduling posts in advance or using story stickers on my stories. Today, we're talking about the tactics of Facebook, like what is practically, tangibly working on Facebook right now. So if you're in a place where you can sit down and listen to this episode, it's going to be really good because you might be able to actually write these things down and try them out this week and see how it goes. If you're not, if you're like driving to work, you're driving home from work, on a walk with your pets, that's fine. But just try to keep them in mind and don't feel pressure to go and try every single strategy this week, but just think about what you could do this week to try. And maybe try 2 or 3 of them and see. Okay, so let's get right into it. What are the Facebook tactics that are working right now? What's working right now is colored background posts. And with this, also the avatar posts. I will also say, I am not a fan of the newest avatar. Like, does anyone agree with me on that? I really did not like the new avatar. I don't know what it is. I actually liked the older one better. When I say older one, I know they've had like 3 or 4 iterations. The last one they had is what I was just getting used to. And now I'm like, I don't like the way the new one looks. So I don't really use the seasonal avatar posts much anymore, but those do get some pretty good engagement and traction. So I would say either use a regular colored background post where the text is like white, or you can use one with the avatars where it's like seasonal. And that'll be really good, especially like leading up to holidays like Christmas, winter. It's good to have the ones where it's like Christmas and winter on there. It just feels more like relevant and seasonal and timely. And with that, anything you can do to try to make content timely is just a good overall tactic. So actually, if you're in the Meta Business Suite Planner and you're planning out posts for your Facebook business page connected to your Instagram as well as your Facebook group, you can plan them all in one place now, which is so cool. You'll actually see in the social media planner, it has different holidays that are happening, like even the little fun Hallmark card ones, not just the big ones. So that is a really helpful tool that you can use. And the more timely and relevant posts are, the more likely they're going to be shared by other people and then have the possibility of going viral. Not that going viral is the goal, but it can help just to get more eyes on content. So that's something to think about. That's a really good tactic that's working right now, especially for like carousel type posts. Let's talk about some other general ones. Going live. Going live was really big back in like 2018, and I feel like it's kind of having a comeback. In general, I think people are getting really burnt out on classic in quotes, launching strategies like webinars, challenges. People do not want to be staring at a screen, especially after all the Zoom fatigue, especially after almost 3 years of being in a pandemic and just staring at a laptop and a phone. People want to get out and about. Now, this might change a little bit as we move into the winter season. If you're listening to this in real time, it is about to be winter. We're going into November. Maybe people will be inside more, but people want to enjoy their lives, right? People have had this like kind of an awakening to what they really care about, what matters to them, what their purpose is, and they don't just want to be spending hours and years of their lives looking at screens. So the more that you can actually physically engage and connect with people, which we're going to talk about in a second, the better. And going live is a great way to do this. Now, there's no way getting around it. The first few lives that you do, they're going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. You're probably going to have nobody on their live with you. And remember that you don't want to have that awkward gap of like when you start, it's like we're just waiting people to come on. Nope, hit live and immediately start talking as if a million people were there. And if you do have one or two people on live, by the way, talk to them, engage with them, ask if there's any questions they have, give them that live support in real time because they're supporting you, support them back. And I would say connect with those people, follow them if you're on Instagram, friend them if you're on Facebook, and see what they're doing and work with them, talk with them one-on-one and see how you can support them and let that guide your future content. Because if you have a couple of people, which I call my ride or dies, those people are going to give you real, honest feedback to help you be better and to create better content. Okay, so going live, also photos with engaging captions. I know it's kind of ironic, right? We've really been in this short form video thing where like TikTok's all about that. Instagram's really all about Reels right now. Facebook's trying to do Reels. YouTube has Shorts, which are basically Reels. Even Pinterest has Idea Pins, which are basically Reels. But having a good old beautiful photo with an engaging, enriching caption is still super valuable. And that's working on Facebook too. So whether you're sharing stuff on your personal profile or your Facebook business page or in your Facebook group, having a photo that tells a story and a caption that supports that story is so valuable and it's effective. Just be thinking about that. What could you do with different images to tell the story of the services you offer, of the products you have, of the resources themselves? Like, why did you create a resource? I've mentioned this before, but Amy's Adventures, I just love what she does with her Instagram account. She's more so of a content creator, but she also does have resources in her TPT store, and she does a masterful job of telling stories and having problems in her stories that her resources solve. So for example, she has like this card set where it's like help kids find their partners to work with, and one will be peanut butter, and then they have to go find jelly. And so she told the story of like how some kids weren't really they were kind of leaving their kids out and they felt like kind of excluded. And so she made up this system to help with that. And that solves a real problem that teachers can relate to and they can see in their own classroom. And that makes them go, oh, okay, you're right. I do have that problem. And yes, I can totally see how your resource would be the solution for that. Let me go grab the link. And so what she'll do is they'll ask for the link, she'll respond to the comment, which gets more traction for that post, and then she'll DM them the resource link. So she gets more sales, she gets the connection because she made that one-on-one contact with that person. She's just doing a masterful job with it. So really it's the same thing on Facebook, right? Like if you could even include in your captions with the photo post, have a call to action, asking them to, hey, drop an emoji if this resonated with you, or drop a me if you want the more information about the resource. You can actually get to a point where you're not even including a ton of links on your post on Facebook and you're still getting sales and interest and opt-ins to your email list because they asked for the link and you sent it to them privately, which when you send people messages on Messenger, that also shows Facebook that that person wants to see more content from you, so they will see your post more. Now, that's not just Facebook, that's also Instagram, but yeah, photos with engaging captions and clear CTAs are always good winners. Facebook Reels, not enough people are paying attention to that. It's so surprising to me too. People will put hours into Instagram Reels and then they won't repurpose them for Facebook, and I just don't understand why. And a lot of times Instagram is pushing out Reels that are made there to Facebook, but I also recommend downloading the video, uploading it separate to Facebook as a Reel just so you can get more eyes on your content. It just makes sense to me. So I would say do that. And as an added bonus, I kind of said this jokingly the other day, but I made $3.60 last month from Reels on Facebook. And that was just playing around. I know, $3.60, that's not much. But when you're first starting out with your Teachers Pay Teachers business especially, like you'll always remember those first few dollars and cents that you make. So, I'll get better at Reels and I'll make more, right? And I'll also be more intentional now that I know you can make money with them. So just think about that. What could you do with the content that you're already using to promote your products to maybe get paid? Now, that's more of a content creator business model. I just want to be clear on that. But you can still use what you're already doing and make more money from it. With those Reels, when you make those Reels on Facebook, I recommend sharing them onto your personal profile, sharing them onto your Facebook business page if you didn't make them directly from the page, and also sharing them to groups. Now with this, you don't want to be super spammy. You want to make sure you have permission to post and share into the groups that you choose to do that. And so that might involve you connecting with admins, connecting with moderators, but think about groups that are related to the content of the Reel where the people in that group could actually really benefit, and don't be afraid to share those Reels in there. That'd be super helpful. And also with your personal profile, I have a professional dashboard. I've set mine up that way, and you can do that in your settings. Even if you don't, there's nothing wrong with highlighting what you're doing in your business on your personal profile. Show them what you're doing. You're proud of it. You've put so much time and effort and work into your resources, into the things you're creating for teachers and students. There's no reason why you can't show them off. And then this is more of a logistical thing, but connecting Facebook to Instagram. So you can actually do this in the Instagram settings. You can make sure that your accounts are connected in the accounts center, and they walk you through how to do this. It's really easy, and I couldn't show you on a podcast anyway, but I would say if you haven't already, make sure that your Facebook business page is connected to your Instagram business account, because when you do this, you can use the Meta Business Suite, which I've already talked about a little bit, to schedule posts on both, and you can even set it up so that Facebook groups that are linked to your Facebook business page get the post pushed into there. So you can literally set up your Instagram posts, your Facebook business page posts, and your group posts all in one place. And the cool thing about the Meta Suite is it shows you a preview of how it's going to look in all those feeds. So like, you know how sometimes you do a carousel on Instagram and it looks a little funky on Facebook? You can modify it so it doesn't look that way. And like sometimes I even miss this too, but like you'll say something on Facebook and it says like link in bio, and you're like, what? There's no bio, right, on Facebook, or you don't have the link there. So what you can do is in the Meta Business Suite, you can like customize the CTA to work for each platform. So on Instagram, it says link in bio. On Facebook, it says check the group post for the link, and so on and so on. So there's some things to think about. And scheduling posts. I can't tell you how many times I talk to teacherpreneurs and TPT sellers, and the biggest problem they tell me is a lack of time. They don't have enough time to sit there and plan out what they're going to say, when they're actually going to sit down and do the post. Sometimes they know what they would say, but it's just that's finding the time to sit down and do it. I'm a huge fan of batching. I've talked a little bit about that on the show before, and I've talked about it in my content, but it is so much easier to sit down on a Saturday morning for 2 to 3 hours and to knock out a few weeks or even a month worth of posts than it is to go every day after you've been teaching all day or after you've just been busy with your family and saying, okay, what am I going to share today? It's just way more stressful to do that. It's more on your brain. There's more context switching involved. So I recommend batch creating and then scheduling the posts with the tools that you have natively in those apps. And then a couple of other ideas I'm going to give you rapid fire here. You can choose whether or not you want to use them. Our polls, you can use those on actually in Messenger. You could even use polls now, or in Facebook groups. You can use rooms. That's kind of like Facebook's version of what Clubhouse used to be, where you either have like a Zoom chat where you can see video and audio, or you can do it a completely audio version like how Clubhouse was, and you can have like a live podcast they can join. There's also been lately, I've seen Facebook testing this. I don't think they've gotten a super positive result, but there's been this thing called Facebook group chats, to where the people in the group automatically get added to this group chat where the admin can send a message. It's almost like a Telegram version of Messenger. I personally hate it as someone who's in groups. Like, I have all these chats and I've been trying to figure out how to leave them, and I can't. Like, even if I leave them on Facebook, for some reason it's still hooked up to Messenger. And I think it's a bug that they're working out, and I'm sure might even have it worked out by the time this podcast airs, but that's something you can try. If your group has the feature, you can see if people like it, maybe ask them in a post first if they're into that. And if it works, do it. And Messenger in general, a lot of people don't feel comfortable sending one-on-one messages on Facebook, but it is such a powerful tool. When you connect with people personally in their private messages, it shows Facebook that you're someone that they want to hear from. So your posts on your page, on your personal profile, are going to get seen by them more often, which is just super great for reach. But also, just the connectivity of one-to-one conversation. There's so much you can do with that. You can send them voice notes in Messenger, just like how you can on Instagram. You could do little video snippet chats. I mean, there's so much you can do with it that you can't do in a one-to-many setting. And while it does take a lot more time, I'm guessing if you're listening to this podcast, you probably don't have a huge audience, right? Like, maybe you do have a couple hundred or a couple thousand, but you don't have this massive, like, tens or hundreds of thousands of followers yet. You do have the opportunity to connect people one-on-one. And I would even say, if you do have tens or hundreds of thousands of followers, it's just as important, if not more important, for you to make those personal connections so that you don't get lost. Another one is friending leads. Again, I know this is weird on Facebook. I don't know why people make it weird, but don't be afraid to add someone as a friend. So usually, like, if I connect with somebody, and I mean a genuine connection, like we're talking back and forth in the comments in a group or something, and I'm like, I really like what this person's saying, I might add them. I add them as a friend. I'll send a message saying, hey, we were just chatting in X group. I really like what you said about XYZ. I thought it'd be cool if we could go on a Zoom sometime and see how we could work together. And then I would usually also let them know in the comments that I've done that. So they're not just like, who is this person? And also so they know to check their message requests, because if someone who's not your friend on Facebook messages you, it's going to go into your others folder. So check your others folder. Make sure you check that every day. Because it's a hot topic in Facebook right now, I'm going to end with this on tactics. I'm not done with the podcast, but for tactics, the @everyone. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I know it's definitely a contested topic, but it can be really effective. So especially if you lead like a paid membership where people are paying to learn more from you, to get support from you, they definitely want to know about updates and things. So make sure that you're using the @everyone tag in your Facebook group. Each admin in your group can use it once per day. So make sure that you're not using it on every single post. I would say save it for those posts that are really, really important for everyone in your group to see. But it doesn't just have to be for paid memberships. You can use that in your free kind of lead generating Facebook group to make sure that they're seeing important updates and maybe featured posts. But I will leave that one up to you as far as whether you do it. So those are the tactics. Those are the day-to-day, everyday things that you can be doing on Facebook that's working right now. But there are some overall strategy things that always work, not just for Facebook, but for every single platform. And they're really simple. When it comes down to it, you always want to have content that helps them connect to you, whether that's in Messenger, whether that's with your posts. Every single piece of content you put out should be able to make a personal connection and have something resonate with your ideal client or customer. And when you're doing that, you're going to make more sales. You're going to get more people on your email list. It is all about making relationships and solving problems. That's really all that sales is. And if you can master those two things, you're going to be in such a great position. And you want to have strong messaging. That means from quickly scrolling on your Instagram feed or interacting with you in a Facebook group, someone should know clearly what you feel and think about certain topics and what you do talk about. Like, who do you help? How do you help them? But how do you feel about certain things? And why should they work with you? How do you make yourself stand out with your values and what you think about certain things? You should have clear branding. And this doesn't mean that your colors have to look super professional and that everything has to be done with by a $6,000 branding expert or anything like that. But they should be cohesive, and I'm sure you already know that if you're creating and selling resources on Teachers Pay Teachers, you want ideally for when someone sees a product cover of yours or something on social media that they quickly and easily are able to connect that resource to you, at least eventually over time, if not right now. And then of course, you want to have good offers. All the marketing and sales skills in the world will not help a resource that's not helpful to sell if it is not solving a legitimate problem for an ideal member of your audience. So you need to have good offers. And I just want to say, don't beat yourself up if you feel like you're not with it with all these things. I guess I'm looking at my list right here, I threw 15 different things at you. I don't expect for everyone to do those tactics on Facebook every single day or every single week. And I don't think it'll be effective for you to try too many different things at once. Like any good science experiment, you always want to isolate one or two variables, right? So maybe just try one tactic, see how it goes, okay? Try one of those tactics. Try repurposing your Instagram Reels to Facebook Reels and then adding those to your Facebook stories. See how that works for you. Try connecting your accounts. Choose one or two of the things mentioned today and see how that works out. And of course, if you want to know more about courses and stuff, you can always DM me. I do have a course launch coming up. I'll be talking about that soon. I just want you to get the support. I want you to get the help because social media does not have to be scary or stressful. It can be an amazing tool to help you build a profitable business online. It can be an amazing impact tool to help you create communities around missions and causes to help you to be able to expand and amplify what you're already doing. So I'm so excited for you to really start to use social media as a tool to really blow up your business. I can't wait to see some of you at the workshop. And even if I don't, or even if I do, I'll see you all next week on the next episode of the Social Media Magic Podcast.